Hey there, and welcome to another edition of Tour Confidential. I'm Ryan Aselta, and I'm happy to be joined this week by former SI and ESPN golf writer Pharrell Evans and the Director of Instruction at Manhattan Woods Golf Academy, Jason Birnbaum. And the Masters is complete, guys, and Patrick Reed becomes the fourth first-time major winner to win the green jacket as he holds off Rickie Fowler on Sunday at Augusta National to win the Masters. When you look at Reed, guys, he started the day with a three-stroke lead. He really steadied himself down the stretch with pars in the last four holes. When you look at Reed, how he dealt with the pressure, the pars, the swings up and down throughout the day, Jason, what impressed you most about Patrick Reed on Sunday at Augusta?
The bounce back was unbelievable. Every time the guy made a bogey, it seemed like he birdied the next hole or one of the next couple holes. What stuck out to me was the par five performance. I mean, he dominated the par fives the first three rounds, and then on Sunday he doesn't make a single birdie on a par five and still gets the job done. I thought that was, to play those par fives with no birdies and still win, I thought was very impressive.
You think there was a different game plan on Sunday or circumstantial? It looked like on 15 he was blocked out of going for it in two, and maybe that was a blessing for him.
Yeah, 13 he got the lucky break. Ball stayed up on the hill there, which was crazy. You don't expect that ball to stay up there, so it could have been worse. I mean, he could have made a couple bogeys on the par fives there with some of some of what he had in front of him. But no, I think he tried to stick with the same game plan. It's tough to have a script and stick with it Sunday at Augusta, but I was impressed. He hung in there well.
You mentioned the break on 13, the break on 17. The putt could have rolled off the green if it doesn't hit the cup. Pharrell, what's next for Patrick Reed? This is his first major title, but this is a guy who burst onto the scene a few years ago and said, I am a top 5 player in the world. Is he going to turn into that now?
Oh, absolutely. I think he's always been one of those top under 30 players, along with Rickie Fowler and, Jordan. But I think, he still has to deal with some of those demons. He's an enigmatic figure on tour. He kind of does his own thing. He's a lone wolf. I think, we haven't seen his best yet, but I think there's some other things that we don't know about him. We saw him fight those demons on Sunday, fighting against the crowds, fighting against expectations. But he's got the game, he's got the physical talent, and he proved that mentally he can play.
Do you think that's what led to kind of a little bit of an awkward atmosphere? I mean, this is a guy who we know from his Ryder Cup performances. Captain America, he's dominated, he helped the Americans at Hazeltine. But on week to week on the PGA Tour, he keeps himself, he's got his headphones in, doesn't play many practice rounds with anyone. Coming up 18 on Sunday, that was a subdued reception from the gallery at Augusta National. Do you think a guy like Patrick Reed will be embraced a little bit more?
I don't think so, and I don't think he wants that. From junior golf, apparently, he's never been an insider kid. He kind of likes being out on the periphery a little bit, and I think he plays that way with a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to be one of those players. And I think for him to be embraced, he's going to have one of those like Greg Norman moments where he blows like a 10-shot lead. Remember, Greg Norman was not a hugely popular guy inside of, amongst the players and widely because he was his very focused player. But I think, I think Patrick may have his Gethsemane at some point that may draw us. But outside of that, he likes where he is.
Jason, what do you think? Can he use that to his advantage? I mean, he's been called cocky in the past. He says he's confident, but clearly there's a chip on his shoulder. You've dealt with many professional golfers. Can they use that to their advantage and have it elevate their performance?
Absolutely. I think that's what makes him great. I mean, if it wasn't that way, I don't think he'd be as good as he is. He sort of has me against the world persona to him. And any other guy going for his first win, you'd think, would succumb to the pressure a little bit, especially with some of the rocky holes that he played. But he's the one guy in my mind, knowing his Ryder Cup experiences and what he's done in some of those big stages like President's Cup, you just knew he wasn't going to falter, which is pretty rare for a guy going for his first win at the Masters.
Reed was very adamant at talking about his motivation and seeing that no one was picking him. They were picking Rory McIlroy on Sunday. Let's talk about Rory, who a disappointing 73 on Sunday, finishes tied for 5th. Jason, this is the guy we thought this could be the year. He found himself in the final group, looking to complete that career Grand Slam. What went wrong for McIlroy on Sunday?
It's a tough one. I think it's being a little blown out of proportion. I mean, it's not like he's making double bogeys all over the golf course and shooting 80 like we saw him do a couple of years ago. 74, disappointing. I thought the pivotal hole yesterday was 8. I mean, he bogeys 8. If he makes birdie on 8, which he made eagle the day before, he makes the turn under par, and 4 under for him on that back 9 is not asking a crazy amount. So it just wasn't his day. I mean, it's a deep pool of guys now, so you've got to be on your game to contend there. And he was a little off. I think he's going to win. I wouldn't be surprised if he won more than one Masters at some point. But listen, it's no surprise. He's got to putt better. I mean, he putted great at Bay Hill, obviously, but his putting over the last year or so has not been his strength, and you've got to putt well to win at Augusta.
Yeah, the change he made with Brad Faxon was much publicized. Let me follow up with that. When it comes to putting, it's always been Rory's Achilles heel. Is it pretty common to see an Achilles heel get exposed in some of the most pressure-packed moments like we saw on Sunday?
Of course. I think that's when it comes out the most, really, especially at a venue like that. But, he's proven that he can putt great. I mean, we just saw him a couple weeks ago, Bay Hill putting amazing on Sunday, shooting 64. So we know, if he had never done it before, if he was always a weakness, but he has sometimes that's been a strength of his game. So it's certainly, like you said, his Achilles, but we've seen some signs. He's just got to get his head right. When we heard some of the facts and stuff, and I mean, basically all I told him to do was to chill out and not think as much. So it can be a simple key for him. I think he gets it done, though. I really do.
What do you think, Pharrell? You're kind of taking a heavy breath there. Does he get it done? And what does this mean for Rory going forward?
Well, there was the putting, but you have to remember that drive off of 1. I mean, as beautiful and strong and how he uses the ground and maybe pound for pound the longest player in the world, he still has some swing issues. And we've seen Rory in tight situations where his swing is kind of backfired against him. And we saw it at 1. And he was kind of fighting the driver, all day on Sunday. And some of his iron shots, his wedge play was off. So I didn't see a really sharp person, but for me, it was missing the eagle putt at 2. That was kind of where we saw like a chance where he could maybe take over this tournament. And then throughout the round, alluding to what Jason says, he was missing some key putts, which I felt like kind of sort of like seeped into his ball striking, because he didn't have that great momentum, and so he was kind of up and down. And then Patrick just didn't go anywhere. He didn't come back and just say, I'm going to give you this tournament.
Well, McIlroy will have to wait another year till Augusta 2019. Tiger Woods, T32, Jason, his first round under par on Sunday, 69 in the final round for Tiger. When you look at the overall body of work for 4 days, should it be a success that Tiger comes back, makes the cut, has a 69 on Sunday, or was it a disappointing weekend for Tiger, who was one of the favorites going into this week?
Right. For me, absolute success. I mean, he's healthy, got through a major championship. The way he played Sunday, I thought, was pretty telling. He hit over 80% of fairways and greens. He certainly hit it better. We saw him hit 11 drivers on Saturday, so he's playing more aggressively off the tee, which we haven't seen much of. But I think a success for sure, and I think he could be a force to reckon with in the rest of the majors this year. I think we had high hopes for him because of how he's played the last few weeks and because Augusta's like his backyard. But when you really step back a little bit and look at the week as a whole and how well he played on Sunday, I say it's a success for him.
Interesting, Pharrell. Tiger was really trying to temper everyone else's expectations when he was all of a sudden the favorite going in, saying, hey, I'm still working my way back here. When you look at how he performed this week, is there something to build on going forward for him?
Absolutely, that he made the cut for 1. But I'm just not sure that Tiger believes that he can play 4 rounds and lead a major championship against the best players in the world yet. Played well at Valspar, he played well at some other events, but I don't know if Tiger's yet confident that, because he's got to hit driver and get some better stats in proximity to the hole to make some actual putts over 4 days. And I don't know if he's there yet. I don't know if he believes that he's there yet. Yeah. So he's got to, we want to see him get there, but I don't know if Tiger yet believes that.
And it's almost like Tiger knew he wasn't there yet by the way he was talking going in.
Right.
He, of course, knows himself better than we do, and we'll likely see Tiger again at the Wells Fargo. He says he's going to take a couple weeks off before he gets back out on the golf course. Jason Birnbaum, Pharrell Evans, thanks for being with us, and thank you for joining us this week on Tour Confidential. Be sure to check us out next week right here on Golf.com.